Good morning, everyone. My name is Anusha Marimathu. Welcome to the Be Smart webinar by the BEE Chamber. Just to give you guys a bit of background, thank you for joining us today. I actually forgot to mention. Thanks for taking the time out of your calendar to actually understand who we are, what is it we do, and how is it we work as an organization. My name's Anusha Marimathu. Like I said, I've been in the BEE transformation space for a period of, I would say, about 13 years. In the learning and development space for a period of about 16 years, managing various interventions and holding down senior roles in corporate companies. I've managed BEE transformation recently at a large multinational. So pretty much, I would say I'm qualified by experience to actually let you understand what the benefits of the chamber are and how we can actually assist you as a BEE professional to become more effective in your organization and to actually make it easier for you to be able to help you through your transformation journey. So the order of the day or the proceedings in the webinar are going to be around how we I just want to explain to you what the benefits of joining the BEE Chamber are very briefly. And then I'm going to do a very quick, brief overview of the Be Smart software. Okay, let's move on. I'm sure all of you guys are able to hear me. I can see myself talking on the screen. So welcome to those of you that have actually joined us a little bit later. Okay. So the BEE Chamber membership is, we're an ICT-based organization. So what that actually means is that all services and the offerings that we actually deliver to you are done through our various platforms, like our mobile app, our responsive website, and you've got the Be Smart software that you're able to capture your data and be able to evaluate your score on. And you are able to actually call us for telephonic support and advice. So in essence, we are not a consulting company and we're not a verification agency. You still can keep your consultant if you want, if you don't have capacity in your organization. But we are the organization that actually lets you become part of a BEE practitioner community. And you can access our services again through our website and our mobile application, and have access to other desks like our learnership desks and our bursary desks, where we're actually able to manage the process for you in your organization from an end-to-end perspective. So it takes a lot of the work away from you to have to do the administrative stuff and allows you to be able to focus on the strategic intent of the codes. At the most basic level, the BEE Chamber has about 5,500 members. We start off with the associate membership, which is actually free. And with the associate membership, it's our service to corporate South Africa and BEE practitioners and pretty much the EMEs and QSEs that we have, and anyone that wants to understand BEE and transformation. The associate membership basically allows you to have access to basic information videos, our BEE guide, and our daily news. And the daily news is something that gives you BEE knowledge and what's changing in the BEE space from a current affairs perspective on a daily basis. So how this works is that you start off an associate membership, and it works basically from the left-hand side onto the right-hand side. So you can become a free member, or the next level of membership is a practitioner membership. When you have practitioner or professional, you get to have the affiliate membership. So all the way up until practitioner, if you look at that three triangles here, or quarters, or actually eights, I would call them, that makes up the 3/8, basically the 3 parts here actually make up the practitioner membership. So when you're a practitioner member, you get to actually access our community forum where you're able to get input from other members and sharing your challenges and successes. You have access to our BEE body of knowledge. It's like the project management body of knowledge, where you have specific BEE documentation as and when you need it, and it's through our app. So gone are those days when you need to print out your PDF documents with the codes and the practice notes and everything and have this entire thick file. Now it's in the palm of your hand on your phone, accessible through our app, and it's searchable. So your PDF document that you have, once it's printed out, is not searchable. Your post-it notes and things like that makes it very difficult for you to be able to access knowledge at your fingertips. And that's what the BEE box gives you, is knowledge at your fingertips when and where you actually need it. The video library actually ensures that you have videos that give you information to what's changing in this space, how is it changing, what is the impact on your score, and also takes you through the basics of BEE to a more advanced level, to a more strategic level. So there are various videos for different levels of where you've come in into this matrix. As a practitioner member, you get to have all of those benefits, as well as telephonic support and advice. So support is where you're able to call us on the latest policy and interpretations of the codes. Advice is basically you're able to bounce your strategy off us, and you're able to say, okay, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think the impact's going to be? So you're able to use us as a strategic thinking partner. Now, the BEE Chamber has our own technical team and a team of consultants on the other side of the telephone that have been in the BEE space for just as long as I've been, if not longer. So you always know that you're getting credible advice and from individuals who are knowledgeable and are at the cutting edge of what's happening in this space. Our resource and toolkit is everything that you need to know around BEE transformation, from documents to policy documents to templates. So you don't have to go and develop and start things from scratch. We've got policy templates. You're able to pull it down from the website and able to customize it for yourself. Okay. Then we move all the way over to professional membership, and professional membership is actually the full Monty. You're able to get professional membership as well as 2 practitioners and 10 affiliates for a corporate membership package. And the professional membership basically comes with weekly webinars that enables you to stay up to date with the latest methodologies and practices. So the webinars are broken up into transformational webinars and transactional webinars. So transformational webinars basically tell you how you should be moving the needle of transformation in the economy of South Africa. Our transactional webinars are for our procurement practitioners, our HR practitioners, and SED practitioners, ESD, actually letting you understand how the actual pillar that you are working on or element that you're working on actually can be maximized. And over and above that, we do monthly scorecard reviews with you if you're a professional member. So you're able to actually help yourself track your progress through the Be Smart professional software, as well as identify focus areas. So in the monthly reviews, you get to sit down with a technical consultant or an expert on the other side of the phone here, and you're able to have one-on-one monthly reviews with them. So like I said, you're able to use us as a strategic thinking partner. You're able to actually track your progress before you get to the end of the 12-month period and you realize you're not actually compliant. So you're able to actually do this on a monthly basis. You're able to actually change your strategy as well if you're not scoring well or if something's changing in your business. So you are able to use an expert outside of your business to be able to assist you to actually manage your scorecard from a strategic perspective. I did say there was a mobile app. So if you go onto the, if you're an Apple user, onto the Apple Store, and if you're an Android user, you can go onto the Google Play Store. You are able to download the BEE Chamber app. You can just search for the BEE Chamber app, and everybody has access to be able to download it. When you're an associate member, certain of the full membership benefits are actually blocked off to you, but you can go and experience our app, which you're able to get the BEE news, some videos that we have, and you can actually see how the BEE body of knowledge actually works. So that's a wrap on the membership benefits. If you'd like to find out more, when Andre gives you a call, you're able to actually discuss it further and the pricing and so forth. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'm going to start sharing the screen on the software. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of context and background, the Be Smart system is a system developed by a company called Talentech, whom the BEE Chamber has actually partnered with. Talentech has been around for about 6 years in the BEE transformation, learning and development space. They do various sorts of software developments. And the reason why we're able to bring you a commercially viable system like this that usually retails on its own for about, I think about 52,000 Rand as a start, is because we have economies of scale through our membership. And that's the reason why we're able to give it to you at 100% discount. So what Talentech has done is that they've taken the learnings from a system called Smart Score, and they've built it into a new platform and a system that is much more easier to use and has a very simplistic, clean interface. So what it lets you do is it enables you as a practitioner to be able to get a very quick view of your scorecard, do scenario planning, be able to actually make changes, look at what the impact of bringing in a new supplier into your scorecard would be, what impact their BE levels would have on your organization, and so forth. So you are able to actually do strategic scenario planning before you actually make business decisions, which is really awesome. Because a lot of the time you actually say, I'm going to deal with that supplier. They've got a level 5. That's actually okay because it's quite far from a level 8. And you're going to probably spend about 10 million Rand with them. So now you're able to actually look at this supplier against your other suppliers and what the effect would be of bringing in some supplier that is actually at a level below a level 4 of compliance into your organization. Okay, so let's move into the order of business. So if you are navigating the system on your own, like I said, it's very user-friendly, it's very easy to use. You would go in and you would create the scorecard. The screen here actually tells you how to create a scorecard, how to answer the interpretive questions, how you import data. So this is basically a little training manual that you have. So I'm taking you into the system today. I am going to just skip this and we're going to go into directly into the scorecard. Okay, so if you look, there is no limit as a member of how many scorecards that you're able to create. You can actually create multiple scorecards for multiple areas of your business. But when you're a professional member, you can only have a monthly review on the scorecard or the business that you are actually linked to. Okay, so like I said, no limits to the amount of scorecards that you create, the scenarios that you create, and so forth. So when you go in, you can actually click here, you actually add a scorecard, you put in all your information, you click save, and it actually draws up the scorecard for you. For the purposes of our exercise today, because our time is quite limited, I'd like to actually, I've also created a dummy scorecard with dummy information. Before I move on to that, I just want to explain what this dashboard is. You can actually, on the action side of the menu, you are able to actually clone your scorecard. And what clone means is if you want to do those scenario plannings that I was talking about, you are now able to go in and actually clone the scorecard without having to play around with the current scorecard that you're using. So you use the clone button, and let's just say you call it, level 5 supplier scenario. And then what the system actually does is that it clones the entire scorecard. It copies all the data across for you, and you're able to go and do a what-if analysis and scenario planning in a totally different scorecard. Okay, can you see it actually says levels 5 supplier scenario? So it's actually copied all of the data across. I want to show it to you quickly. So that you don't think that it's actually something phantom that I'm talking about. It's actually copied the entire scorecard across. You can see the points are 40.19 here. So literally within a space of a few seconds, it's copied the entire scorecard across. I'm going to navigate back to the main menu, and we're going to go and delete that one because I actually don't need it. If you want to keep the scenarios, you're able to keep it. I've got too many here, so I actually forget which ones I'm actually using. So it's as easy as that. You can go in and you can delete the scenarios. Okay. Okay, so it tells you what the name of the scorecard is, what particular sector code you belong to, because you've got to choose, obviously, your sector code in order to calculate your score correctly. It tells you whether the score is actually, the scorecard is at an entity level, a divisional level, or a group level. So you're able to link multiple scorecards up together. So there are certain companies that have one group scorecard as well as individual entity scorecards. And then there are other companies that want to break them down into a divisional scorecard. So you're able to do all of that on the system. Then we actually say what size of company you are. When was a scorecard last amended? In my case, mine was last amended on the 5th of February. And the date it was actually created. So mine was actually created here on the 4th of December. Okay, so we're going to, in order to navigate into the menu, you've got to actually just click on the name of the scorecard. Before we go in, can you see, it actually tells you which scorecard you're in. So it says, your active scorecard here is level 5 supplier scenario. The code is DTI. Your measurement end date is February. I'm not going to use that one. Look, I can use that one. Or I can just go into my scenario, my one I've entered my data into, which is the same as the scenario I've just copied across. So you just click on it in order to navigate. The system's always telling you what it's doing. So in this instance, it's got a little warning icon here that says there are unanswered questions. So whenever something's indicated to you in orange, it means that it's something that you need to watch out for. So the unanswered questions that I have here are the interpretational questions and the questions that I require in order to actually calculate my scorecard. Okay, can you see my scorecard is basically at 40.19. It's the same as the scenario I copied across previously. So before we go in, I'd like to explain this. This is your dashboard that you have, and you're able to export this into an Excel report, and you're able to actually put this into your board packs. This is per the DTI elements, per the weighting on the DTI elements, the score that you're scoring up until now, and what your goal score is. So a lot of the time in businesses, you might not be able to achieve the score because of certain constraints that you have. Like on skills development, I've only got a 4% budget, so I know I'm not going to achieve the 25 score. So you can actually put in a goal score here. When you go into the skills development menu, you're able to double click on this and just add in a goal score, let's say of 20, if you know that's what your 4% spend is actually going to give you. Okay. And quickly on this side, so then it gives you a total. It tells you what your bonus points are going to be if you've got the YES program, what your total on the scorecard is, your BE level. And see, you're actually compliant at a BE level of 8, but now you get discounted because you're not meeting these 2 priority elements that are actually oranged out. So the orange figures indicate where a sub-minimum score has not been achieved, and that results in you being discounted. So that's what the system does for you. So you don't have a YES enhancement level, and your final BE level is actually non-compliant because you've dropped from 8 to non-compliance because of not meeting the priority areas, even though you're at 40.19, which is a level 8. Okay. On the right-hand side here, it's a nice quick graphical view of how you're actually scoring against all the elements. And you can actually see immediately there's a problem here. Either the business doesn't have ownership or we haven't inputted the score. There couldn't be a reason why the business doesn't have employees, so we probably haven't inputted the score here. So that's the reason for. And at a very high level, you can actually see where the challenges are. And you can see at this point, skills development is an issue because you're very far from what the threshold is. And socioeconomic development, again, maybe you don't have a program in place. So it's a very quick graphical view to actually see how you're progressing. So by the end of the year, by month 11, you should actually be quite far in terms of how you are achieving your scorecard towards the desired level that you're looking at. So let's go into the questions. These are questions that we've got to answer for the calculation of our scorecard. And this is like your, your BEE codes, your general questions. What is your impact? What is your turnover for the measured period? In order to actually put this in, you can actually just double click on the area. You can actually put in your number, and you can click save here. Okay. And here it actually tells you, the province where the business is based. So it actually is asking you, like, so which province you based in? So which province are you based in? And that is actually calculates your EAP, and that's required from a skills development perspective. And it also asks for which sector you're in. So these are the general BEE questions your verification agency also asks you. So once you're done inputting this data, you click save. Like I said, the system's always telling you what it's doing. So it tells me busy loading. So I've answered those questions. Now I'm going to go into preferential procurement. So can you see the score for preferential procurement? It's 19.41. Okay. I'm going to go in. I want to show you how easy it is to actually capture your 3,000 strong supplier base into here. So when we go into procurement, it's like the main dashboard. It actually breaks down the procurement element into the items that it has for this category. It again says to you, it's per the DTI codes, your spend with all suppliers, your weighting, your target, your achievement against the target in terms of the percentage, what your score is, and what your goal score is. So if you want to put in a goal score here, you're able to actually adjust your goal score here. Okay. So I'll put the goal score down to 2. I just want to show you how it works. And then you click save, and then it saves the goal score. So every time you click save and you've made a change on the scorecard, it recalculates the score. Okay. And then again, the graphic works the same way as the main screen graphic. It shows you what your progress is thus far. But before we go into procurement, we've got to answer questions on procurement. And these are the general and the interpretational questions. Remember on the codes, it is black and white, right? But the gray area in between are the interpretational questions that you are able to actually ask your agency, like, can capital goods and components be excluded as they are capital in nature, even if they appear on the balance sheet as stock items? So based on whether you answer yes or no to this question, it actually has an impact on your score. So you're able to do scenario planning here by actually clicking yes or no and being able to actually see what the impact is on your score. And then you can argue that with the agency. If you're not really confident, you can give us a call and you can say, well, when I click yes on this, on the interpretational question, this is the score I get. When I click no on it, this is the score I get. So then you say, I'm not really sure about what I should say to the agency when I'm having the verification, or you're in the verification and the agency is saying to you, we don't accept it. So you can actually call us at that point in time and say, how do I handle this objection? Or telephonic advice at that point in time. Okay, so which is brilliant. You don't have to wait for a consultant to come over to you to actually, and to get your PO signed off in order to let the consultant even speak to you. Okay. So once you're done with the interpretational questions, you actually click save. Then we're going to go into capturing the data onto the scorecard. So when you want to capture the data into the scorecard, you go into data sheets. Okay. So now let's just say we want to actually capture in our total measured procurement spend. So we go into the system. We can actually, our TMPS is here. We can go back to elements. I want to delete the TMPS. I want to show you how easy it is to actually put in your, So this is basically your total measured procurement spend that is calculated. I just want to go back and show you how easy it is to input the TMPS. I'm going to delete it here. So let's just say you're keeping track of your total measured procurement spend on a spreadsheet because it's quite complex and it's made up of different elements. I'm going to browse for the spreadsheet that I've actually saved it into. I'm going to include my TMPS and it quickly populates it into the system. And you could have lines and lines and lines of data there. It pulls through the calculation that you require in order to calculate your TMPS. Okay. So that's done. Now we would actually like to go in and start to calculate, start to actually put in our supplier spend. So on the system, the supplier spend is actually called local inclusions, meaning local spend. Okay. So it's the system, like I said, tells you what it's done, what it's always doing in little icons. So this is all our suppliers, guys. These are about 138 pages of suppliers, which is roughly about 2,000 to 3,000 suppliers. So what I'm going to do is I want to actually show you how easy it is to capture this information into the system. I'm going to delete everything. Okay, so it's deleted everything. And it's recalculated my score, okay? So I'm going to go back into so there are no rows here. I want to go back into the elements scorecard. And you see our score was 19.41. Our score is now 0. So we're going to go back into data sheets. And now I'm going to actually input my 3,000 suppliers into my system. Okay, if you guys don't have anything to do between like 2 and 4 in the morning, you can actually enter your suppliers one at a time. Your supplier name, your supplier number, their annual spend, their BEE levels, their Black ownership, Black woman ownership, the empowering supplier status. But for the purposes of our exercise today, I want to show you how quick it is to do it. So you can download the input sheets off the system and you can capture your data into it. I've already done that. I'm going to browse for my local inclusion spreadsheet, which is my supplier spend, and I'm going to input it into the system. Like I said, the system's always telling you what it's doing, so it's validating your data to check if it's correct. And it's now put back my 3,000 strong supplier database into my system. So I'm going to click Save, and I want it to calculate my score for me. It tells you how the percentage complete in terms of uploading the database. It's now calculating the score, so you don't get impatient. And literally within a space of 30 seconds, my score is now calculated. Okay, so I go back to elements. My scorecard was on 0. My scorecard is now again at 19.41. So literally, you've taken your entire supplier database and you've looked at the impact of the spend against your BEE levels. Now, if we go back into data sheets, let's just say you actually made a mistake with this particular supplier and you're saying, you know, they actually do have Black women voting rights. You can actually double click on that area and you can actually change it, and you can say 30%. So that's what you're able to do on the system, is you're able to go in and edit. Okay, then you click save and you can actually see, you know, it could have an impact on your score or not. But you're able to, that's how you're also able to actually play around with your data, obviously in a clone as opposed to your original data. But look, if you make a mistake, you've always got the backup spreadsheets to be able to import into the system again. Okay, so once we're done with that, I want to show you how easy it is. Once you've entered and inputted your TMPS spend is calculated. I'd like to show you the reporting here. It shows you your total measured procurement spend, your difference, including the suppliers with no BEE status. So it actually shows you that your difference is now 21 million. Those are actually the suppliers that you need to work on. So you need to work on 6.64% of your suppliers to actually starting to having BEE conversations with them just to get them BEE compliant. Shows you what your expense items are, what your purchases are. So it's a very good analysis. And this is the analysis usually that your verification agency actually requires from you. So once we're done with inputting our data, we're able to actually go in and look at our analysis of our spend. Okay, so now this basically, sorry, I clicked on the wrong spreadsheet there. So this is your analysis of your spend in the sense of what is your TMPS, what is your spend with your suppliers with no status and your difference, and then it further breaks it down for you into your suppliers with your BEE certificates, what the spend was against the percentage of TMPS, what your spend was with QSEs, with EMEs, Black-owned businesses, what your exclusions were, and so forth. So guys, it gives you a very good representation of how you're performing as a business and where you are at from a procurement level. It's the same concept applies with enterprise and supplier development, which is broken up. You're able to actually input your enterprise and supplier development data. And when we go back into the overall scorecard, again, you're able to see what the impact of your score is on your overall scorecard. Remember, I deleted and I inputted back again. So that's why the score is still at 40.19. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap of the system. That's a wrap of the procurement module. And you can see I've literally showed you how to actually calculate your procurement score in less than 15 minutes and taken you through the usability and functionality of a system that you've never seen before. So it's very easy. And when you do become a member of the chamber, what we do is we actually take you through and onboard you on the software and train you on how to actually use our services and how to access it. And if you still don't understand, there's one-on-one tuition from a telephonic call perspective, and you're able to call us. There's no limit on the amount of times that you're able to call us. So thank you for taking the time to join us today. Andre will be in contact with you should you have any questions. He'll contact you during the course of the day today. Thanks very much, and have a lovely day further, and we look forward to welcoming you as a member to the BEE Chamber very shortly.